Hi, this is Vic, and today, of course, I'm going to be talking about my extended range electric vehicle. That is my 2014 Cadillac ELR. And the reason why I decided to purchase an extended range electric vehicle in the first place. The main reason that I decided to purchase an extended range electric vehicle is to stop pumping money out of my wallet into my gas tank on a daily or weekly basis. And the Cadillac ELR has been very, very successful in removing that and causing me to stop doing that. I decided to go because there's not because they haven't invented a way for us to travel for free yet. I decided to make a choice and go with the more stable source of power instead of going with gasoline. And electricity is very stable. Availability is all over the country, and the price is much cheaper than gasoline, and it doesn't vary anywhere near as much as gas. Instead of pumping a couple $100 a month out of my wallet into my gas tank, I am now spending an average of about $35 per month to travel on a monthly basis. I plug my car in every single night, no matter what the state of charge is. When I pull in at night, I plug it in and it stays plugged in all night. It doesn't have to stay plugged in all night, but it stays plugged in all night. And it has ultimately cost me about $35 per month on average. I carefully monitored my electric bill after getting my electric vehicle. It cost me about $35 per month, so I'm absolutely pleased with that. And that reduction in the cost of travel in the city in which I live is that's money in my pocket. But there's another benefit of having an extended range electric vehicle that I hadn't thought of. In the cases of bad weather or I won't say disaster because that would be too strong of a word. But in the case of an unusual circumstance, such as the storm, such as the storm that beat up the east coast of the United States here this past week. Today is October 9th, 2016. And there was a storm that beat up the east coast pretty much. And here in Charlotte, because we're so far inland, the worst that we got directly from the storm was some steady rain. We didn't get a lot of high winds or anything, but we did get some steady rain. And there were some areas that were concerned about puddling and some flooding and that type of thing. But for the most part, we didn't get beat up anywhere near as much as the coastal states. But one of the things that many of my neighbors were talking about was the fact that many gas stations did not have premium gas or mid-grade gas available, and the price of regular gas went up significantly. Now, it did not impact me at that particular time because I was not looking for gas. I did not need to look for gas. My driving was limited mainly as a result of the bad weather that we were experiencing. Not because I needed fuel to get around. The fuel that I had was plentiful. The only fuel that I needed was electricity. That's my power source, my main power source. My car I can use gasoline as a backup power supply. My main source of power for my car is electricity. So, with that said, I will go ahead and shift over to a slide from October 5th of this year, October 5th of 2016, and this shows the total number of miles that I drove on that particular day. It was 40.2 miles, and it was all on electricity that was stored in the power supply from the car being charged in or being plugged into the wall and charged. and you see the blue icon that looks like a gas pump, it says 0.0 miles on that. So I use absolutely no gasoline. Even though like I said, even though I do keep 4 to 5 gallons of gas in my car, generally speaking, in case I should need it. And I need to drive additional miles. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and that reminds me of a point. An extended range electric vehicle can in fact be used just like a regular gasoline powered vehicle. The difference is, even if I don't plug it in, if I need to travel hundreds of miles, if I need to go hundreds of miles in the car, and I can't plug it in or should fail to plug it in, I'm still going to get exceptionally good gas mileage. I do get anywhere from 36 to 38 miles per gallon. It varies slightly, anywhere from 38 to 36 miles per gallon without charging the power supply, without plugging the car in. And the cars will need to be running off of the generator all the time. But I've experienced that I get anywhere from 36 to 38 miles per gallon in a Cadillac. This is not a it's not a lightweight, thin-skinned car. It is a very solid Cadillac with a good body mass. I just wanted to make that point out. I think it's important. General Motors or Cadillac has implemented technology in a very good way to help reduce the cost of day-to-day living. And I applaud General Motors and Cadillac and Chevrolet, for that matter, for doing such a good job in the cars they've done it in. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say I strongly encourage General Motors to increase the lines of vehicles that extended range electric vehicles are available in. I've spoken to many people, like for example, I remember there was one guy that I met that had an Impala, and I asked him, I said, what would you do? How would you like your Impala if you had the exact same equipment in the Impala and your gas mileage was anywhere between 30 to 50 miles per gallon? And his eyes got very big. He said, I would love it. I said, I'm sure you would. But speaking of miles per gallon, you see my lifetime miles per gallon on my ELR is 94.6. That's because the majority of my driving is performed from the car being charged or plugged into an electrical outlet and being charged. The vast majority of my driving does not come from the running the generator or running the engine. My lifetime average is, like I said, is 94.6. And here, for this 40.2 total miles that I drove, you see it says 250 plus. That applies only to this 40.2 miles. Now, I am down from a lifetime high of 95. At one point, I was up to 95, a lifetime average of 95.1. And that is now, as you can see, is down below that. I'm at 94.6 as a result of me driving long distance from North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. I had to use the generator a significant amount of time. So that kind of hurt my average a little bit.